Yo, Julio's mother was able to sit down with saycheese, and they got to speaking about the life of her son and how he had a strong support system, including his friends and his family and his fans and his business associates. You know, despite his death, his mother has continued to stay in contact with a lot of his partners for the distribution and the music industry. Julio was a great artist, and he grew up in Jacksonville. And in an interview, his mother just explained how much he loved Jacksonville, and he didn't feel like he was ever going to leave it. She asked him to leave, but he said that he ain't see that happening. So she said raising him that she did have some issues with him. He was a little bit of trouble here and there, but he maintained good grades, and he began rapping at an early age, performing at the local events. So from then on, she saw that he had something special. But he was impacted by a lot of deaths, like the death of his father and his grandmother, which his mother believed contribute to some of his rebellious behavior, which of course that's natural, especially since his father was killed in a violent incident when Julio was around 13 or 14, and that's around the age where that kind of stuff really takes its toll on a child. And, you know, they want to lash out, especially if they don't have that male figure, so that's hard. And Julio's mom was very transparent, you know. She understood that he was a key figure in the Jacksonville drill music scene, and she knew that he gained a lot of notoriety in his music and fused with other rappers, which often played out in the public. But despite all of that, he also worked with numerous artists and was recognized for his talents and, you know, his contribution to the community and all that. So she said, like, all in all, her son was a good man, but he couldn't be told what to do. And basically, if somebody was rapping about him and his folks, he was going to rap about them, and she couldn't stop him from being who he was. But she understood. She understood everything. She just knew what her son was into. Yeah, she knew everything about her son. She even said she booked their Airbnb, you know, the moment he passed, because she was more than his mother. She was his manager, and she played a significant role in his career. She was involved in all of his business dealings, and managed his estate after his death, including she's talking about releasing new music. She says she has more than 80 songs, and she says only like less than half is drill, so he got a lot of stuff out there that we should be listening to soon once she gets everything situated, because she's going to be in charge of maintaining his legacy. And she said that, you know, she got some stuff for the fans, so stay tuned, because long live Julio Foolio. And his mom, you know, she wasn't no like out of the mix type of person with her son, because she was a victim of violence. She was actually shot 8 times in 2018. She actually believes that the attack was targeted due to her son's activity, and she maintains that the attackers intended to send a message to her son. So she believes that, you know, she just happened to be involved, even though her son never did anything like that to his ops. You know, he never talked about his ops mother, but in order to get at Julio, she believes they came at her. She actually was shot 8 times leaving her house in her neighborhood. You know, that's wild. But, you know, throughout the interview, Sandra, Julio's mother, and the interviewer for saycheese, Sean Cotton, they talked about the importance of breaking the cycle of violence, and I definitely agree with that, because she was saying that she was keeping in contact with some other parents, and they just want to have this stop, but they already know that it's just a cycle going on and on, kind of like the other places around America, like Chicago and Houston and DC. And these major cities, is a lot of drill, and it's crazy because it's not getting better, it's getting worse. So she just encouraging that these young people pursue education and avoid, you know, the pitfalls of the street life. We all know that you gotta get them early. So she said that she wanted to find programs for Julio to get into, but there was no programs to divert his attention. But, you know, you have to have him in activities, and I noticed that with young men, when you keep them busy, they kind of like stay out of the mix, because they're so occupied, they got so much energy, and they want to jump all over the place. You got to make sure you're doing something with that. So she was saying, like, she's working towards keeping her foundation going. She already has a foundation, but she just want to make sure that now she's reaching out to kids, and she's starting to label, and, you know, we're going to see big things from her coming forward. And you know, Julio Foolio grew up in the streets of Florida and Jacksonville, so everybody knew about his raw music, and people knew that he gained popularity off of that drill music. So it became problems in his life, and his mother told him about that. And she admitted saying that he didn't live with her, and, you know, when she talked to him, and sometimes he didn't want to hear what she would have to say, you know, he would go ahead and block her. So she would reach out to his folks and tell him, like, look, you need to leave, you need to move. But from what I got from the interview, Julio was like most young men. You couldn't tell him nothing. But his mom was very strong. She showed her resilience and strength. And she understood, like, you know, that was the life her son chose. And she understood that he would be judged. And she understood that more people will come out with more music. And it's just how that lifestyle plays out. So she seems like she's really not taking it too hard because she already understood everything and kind of knew. Well, she said that she didn't think her son would die, but worst case scenario, she knew it would be like this. And that's another messed up thing about this is that, you know, people don't be thinking like, not only are you taking this woman's child away, but you're making a mockery of it and you're making fun of him. And I understand that he's done things and a lot of other stuff is coming out, and they're saying that, well, Sean was saying that the people that had got at Julio Foolio was cousins of somebody that he must have been associated with in some way and that had died at some point. But it's just a horrible thing. What I take away from all this is that, you know, your kids, when they get to a certain age, they can't be steered in any direction. I have children and they're 11. I try to keep them busy as possible, playing football or mixed martial arts or something to let out that frustration that they have and then get hurt at the same time. I believe that learning and getting hurt is a very big key to life. You know what I'm saying? And then when you got to do something over and over and over again, it's just like it takes up some of your focus. It takes up some of your focus. For boys, you know, for girls, it's a little different. They ain't got to get hurt. For boys, they should get roughed up a little bit. So y'all keep y'all kids busy. And, you know, youngins, if y'all out here trying to do that drill rap, man, you got to find another avenue because you know what you put on that wax, that don't come back to you for real, for real. It do, man. Y'all stay busy out here in these streets. And moms, try to get these sons around some men that's doing productive things so your sons can grow up in that same kind of, you know what I mean? But y'all got it. Y'all know what y'all doing. Y'all be loving y'all boys and providing for them and giving them food, clothing, and shelter. Y'all do a great job, but we got to keep them busy, keep them off the streets. You know, Julio Foolio had a great mom. She was a great manager, and she is going to carry his legacy on. So he was blessed to have her, and she was definitely blessed to have a son like him. She said something that really, you know, man, it's really caught me up, man. She was like, he seemed so happy the day of his party. And Sean had mentioned that to her, and she definitely was like, she had seen that, and I had seen that too. Like, he was a quiet person from the interviews and what I had seen, but he just seemed like he was just so out of his shell that night. So I'm glad he enjoyed himself. And thank you so much for sitting down and talking to Sean Cotton and letting us know about your son, Miss Sandra. We do appreciate that. Rest in peace to Julio Foolio. And y'all be easy.